All right.
All
We've,
right.
we're finally live, Jorge, after a couple of incidents where we couldn't log in. We apologize if anybody tried to log in and watch us a few minutes ago, but
hmm
we are back. How are you, Jorge?
I'm doing very well. I'm honestly very excited for this new project. And, of course, we always have to have an issue, a technical issue. And of course, we're Latinos, so Latinos always have to be a little bit late. So there we go.
That is true.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we when we started talking about this project, we said we are going to make it unscripted, and
hmm
that means that we prepare, right? We kind of talk a
Yeah.
little bit about what we wanted to talk about, but we also said whatever happens is going to happen, and we're just gonna roll with the punches because we are learning. This is new for us. We're stepping out of our comfort zone, and yeah, we're excited to be here, excited to learn, excited to share, excited to get to know more people who have a similar passion as us for dual language education. So yeah, welcome everybody. If you are
hmm
watching it live, if you're not watching it live, this is going to stay recorded on Twitter and also on YouTube, and eventually we're going to transfer to our dual language spot website, which is also beginning. So lots of
Yes.
great stuff happening on our end. So what do you think, Jorge? Anything to add?
No, I just want to say also también saludos a todas las personas que nos están mirando también. Vamos a estar hablando también un poco en español, porque eso
Mm-hmm.
también es parte de lo que somos. Pero yeah, I'm very, very excited about this new project. And like you say, Juan, it's just stepping out of our comfort zone. We talk a lot about dual language, you and I, all the time, but now we want to
Mm-hmm.
also give to the community. And I think that's the important part. And what I'm passionate about, and I want to just to make sure that we're bringing out good ideas. People can also share their ideas with us, and just continue growing the project.
That's right. That's right.
hmm
So let's get started, Jorge. Why don't we talk a little bit? Let's just talk about who we are, because you're on Twitter, I'm on Twitter. We participate in chats, and some of our colleagues in our individual districts may know us. But if you are tuning in and this is the first time that you see us, um, welcome, and let's just share who we are. Go ahead, Jorge. You
Yeah.
start, and then I'll follow up with you.
Okay, so some of the things that I want to say about me is just, first of all, of course, I'm an educator. I've been in
Mm-hmm.
education over 10 years. I'm a learner. I'm Latino. I'm passionate about dual language. And like I said, because I'm a learner, I just continue. I like to continue my professional development, getting new ideas to continue growing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a principal now for 7 years in a dual language school. I've been an administrator for 10 years in different
Mm-hmm.
roles. But I think that since I started in administration, that's when it actually kind of hit me about wanting to learn more about dual language, wanting to uh, bring this program of education that is so amazing
Mm-hmm.
to all the kids, not only Latino kids, but it's all for everyone. So I
Yeah.
think that is just a little bit of me, of also who I am. Yeah. How about you, Juan? How about you can tell us a
Well,
little bit about you?
I I started as a high school ESL teacher, and Jorge and I actually were teachers in the same high school.
hmm
I think it was like 12 years ago, right? And
Yeah.
we've been friends ever since. And been serving in different capacities. I have served as an administrator at central office, working with English learners. Jorge used to be my principal when I was an assistant principal.
Yeah.
Learned a lot from him. Also, I have served as a principal in the middle school level, and I'm currently working back at central office in the wonderful district of McHenry, Illinois, District 15. They're supporting their dual language programming in the community there. So just like you would mention, Jorge, when I became an administrator, I started to learn. It was a different world, right? Than
Oh,
when I was a
totally.
teacher. And I
Totally.
started to learn. I started to listen to some of the people that were advocates for dual language. Started attending some conferences, and that just sparked a passion in me and wanting to learn more so that I could be a better administrator and I can support the programs better and the students and the teachers that work within it. So yeah, that's kind of my story. Soy mexicano, nací en México, and as some of you guys may listen in my accent, I started learning English as a teenager too. So I'm very proud of that I was able to become bilingual. And I have two daughters. They're both in dual language. And yes, I want them to be bilingual. I want them to learn about my language, my culture. And yeah, a darle.
Yeah, and also same thing with me. I also have two of my three kids. Actually, they are in the dual language program. So it's not only um, good for other kids; it's also good for our own kids, and that's why we're so
Hmm.
proud and so passionate about dual language. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
let's go ahead,
yeah,
Jorge. Go ahead.
no, I would just gonna just kind of move us along and just to start talking about how we started this project, and also why dual language advocacy.
Well, I think we started this project because we discovered Twitter. I personally discovered Twitter about 4 years ago, and I started meeting a bunch of people, wonderful educators who have a lot of great ideas, who every day come online and they share their thoughts, their expertise. I've seen other people do similar projects like this where they write a blog, they do a streamcast, or they might do videos just to kind of share and we learn together. So I approached Jorge and I said, Jorge, you and I are always talking about dual language. We're always sharing our ideas with each other. Would you be interested in doing something like this? And Jorge said, I don't know.
That is
but
true. Yeah, yeah.
that is true. I don't know. But we did, so we started just kind of drafting our website and kind of putting our ideas together. And this is the first goal that we go at it. So
Mhm.
I don't know. It's going to go, I think it's going to be really cool. I think we're going to
Yeah.
learn a lot. I think we're going to meet some people. We're definitely stepping out of our comfort zone, right? Because
Mhm.
we're live right now, and unscripted. Whatever happens, happens. And yeah, so I'm excited.
Yeah, something that, of course, people don't know about us, is you mentioned a little bit earlier, it was that we used to work together, right? And when we were principal and assistant principal in the same school, we did actually a really good team,
Mhm.
we worked together and we push each other's boundaries. So something that, it was good for us, it was that dynamic.
Mhm.
There was things that I was able to teach Juan. There's other things that Juan was able to teach me, and this is one of them. Honestly, like I would have been doing this. It would have been for Juan getting me out of my comfort zone and say, "Hey, we're gonna do this project," and it's true. We talk a lot. School, we talk about dual language and things, and now how about instead of just talking between us, let's talk to other people. And that's what we want also from the people that are watching. Just later on, they'll also send us ideas and things that you guys would like to hear, because we're not only the expert, you guys are also the experts, and we want to hear from you too.
Yes, definitely. We're not the experts. I go to work every day thinking like, oh my God, what's gonna happen today? Especially, I remember back to the days in the building. Um, and when a problem arises, we always go to the people, right? All right, what do we need to do?
Yep.
And most
Yeah.
of the time, it's not the administrators who help us solve the issues that happen. It's the teachers, the
The
staff, the
team.
parents, the students, the team that makes it
Mhm.
happen. So, all right, let's
All right.
get started with the topic.
Mhm.
So one of the things that we talked about when we were trying to figure out what should we talk about when we go live, we said let's start from the beginning,
Mhm.
and let's talk about advocacy. ¿Cómo se dice advocacy en español?
Sería, no voy a decir advocar, pero no es advocar.
Abogar,
No, abogar, abogar.
abogar, yeah, abogar.
Abogar, abogar, yeah.
Okay,
Un
yes.
abogado. Mhm.
Okay, advocate. So let's say
Yeah,
let's talk about
yeah.
advocacy, because I don't know about you, Jorge, but in my role as an administrator, um, I find myself always trying to teach other people, trying to share my perspective. But I always say, let's do this together. Let's work on this together. How can we make it better in terms of dual language programming, right?
Right.
And in order to do that, in order to go and seek collaboration with other people, we need to be advocates. So
Mhm.
let's unpack that concept of advocacy. And for those viewers who are here with us today who maybe don't know what dual language is, what is dual language, Jorge? You're a dual language principal.
Yeah, just in simple words, it's a program essentially where the students are going to be developing academic skills in their native language. Also, they will be while they're also building skills in another language.
Mhm.
I think that's overall in not a really nutshell what it is, but it's them to in English, but again, this is a program that it could be for different languages, and
Mhm.
especially now, that we talk about a global economy, a global society. You know, this is also when we're talking about equity and social justice. This is something that is very important, that us as a nation need to continue growing. This is not only good for minorities. This program is not only good for uh, for particular groups. It's good for everyone. Everyone that
Mhm.
would like to learn another language and become biliterate, meaning that the students can read, write, and speak another language.
Mhm. Yeah, and there's also some components to the programming, right? So
Absolutely.
depending on the grade level, we talk a lot about language and content allocation, right? So
Hmm.
depending on the grade level, there might be more English or more Spanish. Some programs are 80-20, meaning that about 80% of the day as they start is in Spanish. And that's the case in the program that I work
Hmm.
with. There are 50-50 models. There's one teacher models, there are two teacher models, but I think that you hit it right on the nail. The main component of it is the big ideas, right? Bilingualism,
Hmm.
biculturalism, by literacy.
Right.
And in terms of advocacy, what does that mean?
I think it just starts with, first of all, in order for us to advocate for anything, right? We just need to learn. We need
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
to read all policies. What programs do we have in the district? How our kids are being supported. Uh, and once you have that information, then you also um, go and start educating other people. And start looking for what are the students' rights. What we want. What is about if we can even go to any research out there and bilingual kids, the best way to support actually kids in the dual language program, because it's a little bit different than some of the other programs. And the way do you want them to be learning um, a new language? So we need to keep that in mind when we're supporting um, kids. So I think it overall is advocacy start with that. What is the rights of the students? Especially, um, always see it this way. You know, we have an opportunity to create a better education for kids, or just provide a few things that let's see where they go. You know, to see if they actually make it to high school or they drop out. And I think that in order to advocate for our kids, we need to know about it. We need to know about what
Mhm.
is dual language, why dual language is such an amazing program, and also brings this whole. You know, when we talk also about the whole student is about, we're, like I said earlier, we know we are in a global economy, so we want
Mhm.
our kids not only to know one language, not even know two languages. If they can even learn more than two languages, that would be great. You know, I remember my first time I went to Europe. You know, I
Mhm.
was always like, oh, I'm bilingual, and then I meet this guy that he knew like five different languages, and I was like, oh, now I feel stupid. Like I need to, you know, step it up now and try to make something better, but of myself, you know. But again, it is because of that, because I want it for my own kids, no, not only because I want them to learn another language, but they also go beyond that and continue growing and learning other cultures. So important for people to know that. And there's so many things, especially now that our society is so polarized. You know, being able to know their culture, being able to be open to learn. I think that's yeah.
We're having a little bit of technical difficulties
Mm,
again. You seem to be
yes.
freezing a
Hmm.
little bit with me, Jorge, but I do
All
like
right. Sorry.
what you're good. You're good. I do like what you
Hmm.
said. And actually, when you mentioned that advocacy starts with learning,
Hmm.
I had not even think of it like that before, but I think I agree with you, because I can see so many situations in schools, working with educators, depending on the role, where we may think that they're not
Hmm.
advocating for dual language, or they're against dual language, or and that may not be the case. I think that all educators have great intentions. They want the best for the students. They want to do what's best for them, their families, their communities, their schools. But when we lack understanding of what dual language is and the benefits of dual language and how all the technical aspects of how it works, then it may seem like we're against it or we're not advocates.
Hmm.
So by learning, including us, right? That
Oh yeah.
I think I know enough about dual language because I live it every day. But I'm always willing to learn. I'm always seeking new opportunities to learn, because the more that I know, the more that I learn, the more perspectives that I'm able to analyze from different people, the better I'm going to be able to advocate.
Hmm.
So that's a good point. I like that. And going with that, can you think of any examples, maybe a colleague of yours, or you yourself? What does it look like? Give me some like practical. What does advocacy look like in action?
So I do remember when I was in my first year as a principal, and I think even before that, when I was also in central office, I remember having the conversation with the Title III coordinator, and of how come we don't have a dual language, or how come we don't expand more the programming for bilingual kids, right? So I think it started a little bit there, you know, because again, you do the research and you see how good it's for our kid, for our kids, any, honestly, any kid, you know. I don't want to just say that it's good for this particular Latino kids or specific groups, but it's good for everybody. So I think that it started also educating people, right? And
Hmm.
I was because in the building, I needed to also work with my wanted to make sure that my staff knew what are the goals of the program, why it's so important, what are the benefits, what are the things that our kids are going to be seeing when we do this program. Also, it's working with not only working with the staff, but it's also working with central office too, because you need the support from them. This is a program. If you're going to buy into it, then it's a program for the entire district, and that starts with what is our instruction, what kind of assessments we're going to have, curriculum, and things like that. And more importantly, the community. How you can also sell it to the community, and why the community, why you want your kids in this program. And I remember having a conversation with monolingual parents, and they were concerned about, of course, well, they're going to be learning Spanish, but what will happen with their English and things like that, right? And you also need to make sure that you give them that support and understanding that these are the things that you're going to be seeing. And in some way, they also need to trust the process, right? Because we all know that language takes years to build those skills to be able to speak and read and be literate in another language. So, but not everybody knows that, right? You and I know them because this is our world. But you need to buy into it and have people that understand that, and then just start moving forward. You need to put your best team together and make it happen. Yeah.
So just if I could paraphrase a little bit what you said, a good example of advocacy for dual language could simply means questioning or not questioning, like asking, right? Why don't we do this? Or can we try this? And asking the questions with our colleagues, and engaging in the dialogue, not to question. I use that phrase wrong. It's not to question, but more to like engage in the dialogue so that we can continue opening the conversation for potential improvement. And the other thing I really like that you said is continue to educate people. If someone has a question about dual language, right, like a parent that you mentioned who comes in and says like, oh, is my kid going to be okay? Yep, explaining how dual language works, what are the expectations of learning for my students, what is the typical progression for language development, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's great. I think, I work in central office now. And one of the things that I think is a good example of advocacy is always asking, is what we're doing for our monolingual or mainstream programming summer school, as an example, right? We're putting together a summer school program. What are we doing for our dual language programming? Are we doing a summer school for dual language students? And then not only just asking, but also offering ourselves to collaborate with our colleagues in order to come up with a programming that is in alignment with the vision for dual language education. When we do curriculum adoption, right, we buy materials, and sometimes we buy materials thinking, oh, this is going to be great for the district, but we may forget that we have dual language programming. In some districts, right, we may have 1-2 classrooms, so the districts have the whole district is dual language, right? So they may not run into those issues. But if we do have a small program, okay, are the materials that we are adopting, are those available in the languages that we are instructing our students? Are those authentic for the cultures that we are promoting? And then it can also goes back to recruiting our people. I think that advocacy happens. It's so important when we hire new staff, when we hire anybody, right? So sometimes we're involved in interviews for positions that are principals, assistant principals, curriculum directors, bilingual coordinators, you name it. Being able to provide that perspective is a good example of advocacy, I think.
Right. No, absolutely. And you know, also going to some of the examples that you just said also trigger something in my head, especially this past week when I was meeting with my dual language teachers. You know, we talked also about being able to elevate the targeted language too. You know, this is a way
Yep.
that we can advocate in making sure that yes, we're doing the program, but we're doing with fidelity. You know, and it's elevate that targeted language and embrace everything that comes with it. You know, when like we went all the way to the classroom in terms of how it should look like, and said, you know, when it's the time for Spanish, it's the time for Spanish, and when it's the time for English, it's time for English. So we can allocate that, and if you know, if as working as a professional learning community, you know, if you know that also some of your colleagues are not doing that piece, that's how you advocate as well and say, no, this is important. Otherwise, we're not going to have the results that we're expecting, because everyone always will go to English because that is the main language. So we need to be very specific also in that area as well.
Yeah, I agree. So for everyone who is watching us, as you can see, Jorge and I can talk for hours on
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
We do it all the time. We actually have other buddies that we're gonna bring on the show, and we're going to engage in dialogue, because we believe advocacy for dual language education is so important. It's so important. We have our own kids in dual language programming because we believe in it, and we know that it's great for our own kids. Therefore, we want it for all the kids. We're both administrators, and we know that regardless of our roles, right? Principal, assistant principal, curriculum director, superintendent,
Teachers.
HR director, teachers, regardless, we can unpack the concept of advocacy from different angles. So we're going to be doing that here in this 6-week series. We're going to have different teachers and staff and administrators and colleagues and people from here in Eloy, from other places, who are going to help us unpack all of that. Jorge,
So
I have
what
one.
would be some?
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask you, like, what would be some of the topics so people know also what are we going to be doing in the next few weeks too.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about curriculum and instruction, right? We're going to have Amy Mosquera from Delante, who is going to join us in a couple of weeks to talk about curriculum instruction. We are going to have Carly Espina, who is going to be here with us next week, and she's going to help us understand and learn a little bit more about how to be an advocate when we're working with our community and our parents. We're going to have one of our good friends, Eberto Mora, who's the HR director in the 6th biggest district in the state of Illinois here. And he's going to help us understand how to be good advocates for dual language education when we are recruiting talent to work in our programs. We're going to talk about assessments with Cristal Jimenez, who's going to join us.
One of my colleagues now.
One of your colleagues, yes. And then we're also going to be talking about just culture in general. So it's going to be exciting. Please tune in. If you can tune in live, if you cannot tune in live, that's okay. All of these episodes are going to be saved. We're going to be saving them in our website, and we're going to be sharing them with everybody, so you can watch them at any time later on. So yeah, what do you think, Jorge?
Oh, this is great. Honestly, I'm very excited. And again, because all these people bring so many perspective that even for us, it will be great. You know, that's what we want. We want to just continue learning. So I'm very excited for this.
Perfect. Well, we said, Jorge, we were going to do this unscripted and we're going to keep it up to 30 minutes and we were not going to go past that. And right now we're at 30 minutes and 16 seconds. What do you think? Should we keep going or do we save the conversation for next week? When are we tuning in again?
We're going to be doing it next Tuesday, again, same time at 7:30. So please join us. We're going to continue talking about advocacy, focusing now with involving parents. So please join us.
All right. Thank you so much, Jorge, for being here, for joining me in this crazy journey over the years.
Thank you for challenging me. Thank you for challenging me. Yeah. No, and thank you everyone that has been tuning in. I appreciate that you guys are staying with us, and I hope that you're getting something out of it. So tell your friends, your colleagues, just to join us, so we can continue growing the network.
Si tienen tele, ahí se ven.
Exacto. Muchas gracias a todos.
Adiós, everyone.
Yeah.